So I own and operate 3 different brands, and I'm about to tell you all of the things that I do to stay on track as a self-employed entrepreneur, content creator that owns and operates 3 brands. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Ariana. I'm a social media manager, a content creator, and on this channel, we talk about socials for business, socials for creators, content creation, work-life balance, workflows, routines, productivity, all that good stuff. If conversations and content like this interest you, I highly recommend subscribing. If you're confused about my background and this is the first time you're here, I am currently filming and working out of my closet. It is my closet, me and my husband's closet and my office. So we're working on the background. Let's go ahead and get into all of the things that I do to stay sane, as well as run 3 different brands, 3 different businesses, how I remain productive, and how I still have a life. So the 3 brands in question, I have one social media management brand. It is this name on my YouTube channel. I was a social media manager. I started this business back in 2020, 2021, and I was a general social media manager, completely remotely working with small businesses. And then I actually branched out and niched down into a different social media management space where I niched down to only working with, or exclusively working with, beauty service professionals. Those are my 2 brands. My first general social media management brand, I'm currently only, or kind of breathing life back into it. I did take a break from it for a little bit, but I am actively working on reviving it. And my plan for this brand is to grow this YouTube channel, as well as provide resources for people who are trying to grow their social media accounts, trying to grow their businesses online, and people who are just trying to navigate content creating as well as monetizing their content as a business owner, as a creator, or whatever. So that is the gist of my 2 brands. They are kind of similar, very similar, but they do have their own operating systems and they're basically their own 2 separate things. And my last brand is, I'm also a makeup content creator. So that brand has nothing to do with the first 2. So I create content on a completely different YouTube channel, a completely different TikTok account, and I actively have UGC jobs from it. I post very consistently on TikTok and on YouTube as well, more consistently as of recently. But those are basically my 3 brands and what my life looks like. So let's get into how I organize all of these things. I literally am just one person doing all of this. I do not have a team. I don't even outsource to a virtual assistant. It is definitely in my plans for the future. I'm not exactly sure how yet. I don't even know what I would outsource. So literally it is just me running the show. So the first thing that I do, and the most important thing that I do to stay sane, to keep all of this organized, to make everything make sense, to make sure that everything is running, is that I stay on top of my planning. If you are not new to this channel and if you've seen any of my other videos, somehow planning makes its way into every single one of my videos. But literally, I am a planning person. I have multiple planners. I'm an iPad girly, and planning is literally one of my favorite things to do. It just has so much potential, and it's such a space of organization. It's a space of ambition. I absolutely love planning. So I do enjoy planning, but it is definitely something that is very important for keeping all of these things running smoothly. And this is basically how I plan my time so that I can keep up with all of these things. The first thing that I do is I have different goals that I set, as well as goals that I organize. So I have yearly goals, I have quarterly goals, and then I have 3 focuses of the quarter. So I basically break my goals down starting all the way from the year and break it down into quarters, break those quarterly goals down into each month, and then break the month down into 4 weeks. So it doesn't go like this all the time, but that's basically the gist and the concept of it. Also a great way to help me stay focused when I am doing the daily operations and I am just in maintenance mode. These are things that helps me stay focused and keeps my eye on the bigger picture of we're running smoothly right now, but how can we take this to the next level? Or aren't I supposed to be growing or something like that? So whenever I have a moment when I'm fully in maintenance mode, I go back to my goals to do something else that is going to push me more towards my goals. And then that's how I come up with projects that I work on in my free time. And yes, I do have free time somehow. Another thing that I do and another thing that I plan and just have to keep everything organized and everything running is that I have systems and schedules that eliminate decision making. So within a business, there are so many different things that have to happen. For example, if I onboard a client, then I need to send them the contract, the invoice, the timeline, confirmation emails, welcome emails, and I basically have an entire system for that alone. If somebody has questions, if somebody's just inquiring, there's a whole system of canned emails, and there's just a whole ecosystem, a whole situation that has to happen that I should have already down and saved and ready to go for any situation that I've been in previously that I can get in front of. Having systems is definitely something that helps me save a lot of time. I have recently, I wouldn't say perfected, but I do have a really great system going where I capture my leads, I can nurture them, I take care of their questions and give them everything that a person who's interested in my services needs to literally move all the way to handing over their credit card to me. And I don't have to do much until the actual service starts. So having systems in place is totally 100% necessary, especially if you are someone who is responsible for a lot of things, and it is literally just you running the show. I also have systems for other things that belong in different places. For example, I do have a system for creating content and an entire content creation workflow that I literally just have to kind of ride. So it eliminates having to make a lot of decisions when I am in maintenance mode and when I literally just have to do things and get them off of my to-do list. I don't have to think about how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to approach it. It makes it a lot easier to literally get things done and again, save me a lot of time and still operate successfully and consistently. The second most important thing that I would recommend, and all of that I just kind of talked about would definitely be categorized in one category, one bucket. The second bucket that we're going to get into is systems, schedules, and routines. So this is its own bucket because this is kind of getting into maintenance versus project and mapping out my day, mapping out my week, and mapping out the month, as well as having systems such as content batching, client systems, and life systems. So system schedules and routines is kind of going a little bit more into planning out my time versus planning out how things operate, systems of operation, and just the step-by-step of getting things done. When I talk about maintenance versus projects, I have a set schedule of things that I need to do every single day that keep everything afloat, that keep everything maintained. And then I have a part of my day where that is open for me to insert projects. And the projects are actually those things that get me closer and closer to my goals. So for example, I actually am working on creating a new digital product, which is not a course, it's not an ebook, it's just gonna be a content creation tool or resource, or mostly a tool on helping creators and business owners who create their own content and solopreneurs organize their content creation process, their filming day, but essentially a content creation planner. So digital products are definitely something that needs to be updated every quarter or worked on, enhanced every quarter to keep it fresh and to keep income flowing. Because you can only sell one digital product, especially if it's not something that can be sold to the same person multiple times. It is something that needs to be updated or added onto to get repeat customers. Very interesting business model. I would love to actually talk about that if you're interested. But that is a project that I have to insert into my schedule, into the project slot of my day when I do have time for that. Now, getting into mapping out my day, I actually have literally time blocks within my day for different things. So the mornings for me are for client work. I already know every single day in the morning I wake up, I have my breakfast, I am doing and sitting in front of my laptop with my iPad doing client work. Then when I have completed that time block, completed the client work of the day, then I move into my second time block section and task. Today, that time block section is creating content and filming. So now this is me, this is where I'm at, and this actually only happens twice a week. So it is kind of like a lot of moving parts, but structuring my day like this, having 3 separate time blocks that I can work in and work on different things in, makes it so much easier to stay organized. Even when I have things like this that I have to film during the second time block during 2 days, it still keeps it organized because there is a lot of things going on. And then the third thing that I do to help move the needle, to help me reach my goals and not stay stuck in maintenance mode, because it would be really easy to just focus on or just kind of have a tunnel vision where I'm just trying to keep everything afloat, keep everything moving, posting on socials every single day, creating the content, making sure that the clients are taken care of. There are things that you need to do to move the needle, such as constantly marketing your business, upgrading services, again, upgrading your digital products, actually going in on the strategy that you're using within the content to grow things that will help you make more money. And this bucket that I'm talking about is basically just updating my strategy, or updating your strategy, or updating the strategy. So this is usually, for me, this happens at the end of the month. This is where I sit down, review things, go over data, just have a meeting with myself, figure out what went well, what I want to double down on, and then what I want to delete from my to-do list or task list, or if there's any updates in the strategy that I'm using or implementing at the moment, for literally anything. So this is the part where I assess and update all of the things. So this could be my content strategy, my marketing strategy as a whole, services, if I think that there's a little place in my service workflow that could be improved that will make it more efficient, my content creation process, if I can find a way to make it a little bit faster. This is the time where I literally sit down and assess all of these things. And yes, it might seem overwhelming because there's so many moving parts, so many different things for each brand and each business, and things within the business and things within those things. But this is why it's super important to be organized and have a planner, let me tell you. And then again, this is when I delete and add things to my systems, to my strategy, and make sure that I'm actually moving forward and moving closer to my goals instead of literally just doing. So those were my 3 buckets. That's basically what I do on a day-to-day basis as well as a monthly basis to keep up with my brands, my businesses, stay sane, have free time, and still reach my goals. The biggest takeaway that I would like you to take from this is that planning is key. So I highly recommend, if you are someone who's literally just maybe trying to grow one business, then there is definitely a way for you to make things even more efficient, and always room for improvement. I'm not saying all of this to brag, but it is totally possible for you to actually do these things in a way that will get your goals and also stay organized and not feel overwhelmed. I currently, my state of mind and being, my state of being right now, I do not feel overwhelmed at all because of the stops and systems that I have in place. I have a timeline booked out system where clients can inquire and they can book me without me having to really speak to them, because the way I've designed my inquiry system, I give them all the information they need to go ahead and make the decision to book with me without me having to really actively be present. But I also am able to tell them that I am not available until a further date so that I am not overbooked. So This actually has helped a lot. Knowing your limits and being really realistic with your schedule will definitely help you stay organized, stay on top of all of the things that you need to do, and still grow. So hopefully I got your wheels turning. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. If you'd like to see a video on my opinion on digital products, I would love to yap about that. So let me know if that's something that you're interested in. If you love conversations and content like this, definitely stick around, subscribe, and like this video. It really does help me out. If you have any other video suggestions or topics you'd like me to touch on, let me know down in the comments. If you're a business owner or a creator, let me know in the comments as well. I'd love to know who exactly is watching these videos. If you're both amazing, let me know. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!